everyone. Hope we are all having a good day today. We are the Group 3, the last reporter. Before we start the discussion, let us pray first and then followed by singing the national anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang mag-ibig, telas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng bagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iibig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidinig. Luman ang araw ng walhaging pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Alright, welcome everyone. Thank you for taking the time to attend our online meeting this morning. This meeting will be tackling about creative literacy. We have a lot to cover, so we will get started without further ado. Let me introduce first the speakers for today's discussion. First is Miss Josephine Kinal, followed by Miss Junilyn Badal, followed by Mr. Denzel Jude Ortega, followed by yours truly, Rialyn Corba, and the last speaker for today's discussion is Miss Salvacion Yuzan. Without further ado, we will start the discussion. Miss Josephine Kinal, you may now take the spots and start the discussion.
Good day, everyone. So, what is creative literacy? We all know that literacy is the ability to read and write, but the definition of creative is a little harder to define. It can be the ability to solve problems or being able to use your imagination. By combining creativity and literacy in the classroom, teachers can make use of powerful tools to achieve their goals.
According to Alanta and Ignacio 2019, creative and artistic literacy is defined as the knowledge and understanding needed to participate fully in the arts.
This means that creative or artistic literacy refers to the knowledge and understanding required to fully participate in the arts. This includes the ability to appreciate, analyze, and create artistic works, as well as to understand the cultural and historical context in which they were created. It is important that learners should embody a range of literate practices like the following: use their minds in verbal and non-verbal ways, communicate complex ideas in a variety of forms, understand words, sounds, or images, imagine new possibilities, perceive to reach goals and make them happen. Schoenfeld 2015 emphasized that being able to critically read, write, and speak about art should not be the main factors of what counts as literacy in the arts, but rather the cultivation of imagination and creativity, the formation of deeper understanding about multimodality and multiliteracies in the arts are of paramount importance. This means critical reading, writing, and speaking are not the only important components of literacy in the arts. Instead, it emphasizes the cultivation of imagination and creativity and the information of deeper understanding of multiple literacies and modalities within the arts as key aspects of literacy. In other words, Schoenfeld is arguing that literacy is not limited to traditional academic forms of reading, writing, and speaking about art, but rather encompasses a wider range of creative and imaginative practices and deeper exploration of different ways that art can be experienced and interpreted.
What a very informative discussion. Thank you, Ms. Canal. You may now proceed or continue the discussion, Ms. Badal.
Good day, everyone. Let's now proceed to the next part of our discussion or our program. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Janan Badal, and we will be talking about the valuable lessons or benefits that we could learn in creative or artistic literacy. There are actually 8 valuable lessons that I am going to discuss. First is the form and content cannot be separated. Based on what I have researched, what is a text says is the content, and the form is the way in which what it says is arranged. How something is said or done shapes the content of experience. This implies that in education, how a subject is taught, how a curricula are organized, and how the schools are designed greatly affect what learners will learn. It only means that in one particular paragraph, there is a content that the content tells us what it wants to make us learn or understand, that we could create knowledge in our minds. The second one is everything interacts. There is interaction between the content and then the form that is molded in the mind of the learners or the readers. There is no content without form, and no form without content. In other words, if the content is altered, so too is the form. Form and content are inseparable entities. They cannot be separated, just like from what the first valuable lessons that I have discussed earlier. The third one is nuance matters. When we say nuance, It is the meaning or expression, or what was the meaning of the text that you are reading. Attention to nuance is critical because a student can shape in the course of creation how a word is spoken, how a line is written affect the character of the whole. Just like you, if you are presenting in front, it defines who you are. The way you speak, the way you pronounce words, the way you share knowledge. Knowledge is how the listener could make their impression, or the way they could define who you are. To the extent to which teaching is an art, attention to nuance is critical, just like what I have said earlier. Nuances are the details that the student or maker can shape in the course of creation. Let's now proceed to the fourth one, which is surprise is not to be seen as an intruder. When we say intruder, it is, let's say in Tagalog, panghimasok, or in the process of inquiry. Surprises is not be seen as an intruder in the process of inquiry. You should not create questions in an inquiry process that is hard for the listeners to understand. If that the reason why you do that is that just to, again, surprise is not be seen as intruder, or just like for example in a Q&A or question and answer portion, you should not make question such that a hard question if you just want to let the viewers think that you are unintelligent. Questions must have purpose. These questions must be related from what the text that readers have read. Based on the definition that I have read or searched about this type of valuable lesson, it is a part of the rewards one reaps when working artistically. This indicates that educators should not resist surprise, but create the condition to make it happen. The most powerful source of intrinsic motivation. When we say intrinsic motivation, it is doing of an activity for its inherent satisfaction rather than for some separable consequences. Just like what I have said earlier, in doing inquiry procedure, it must be enjoyable rather than receiving a prize or a reward. Let's now proceed to the fifth one, which is slowing down perception is the most promising way to see what is actually there. The ability to take one's time to understand more of one particular word to make it understand. You need to give yourself time just for you to understand and slowing down perception. One of the qualities education should promote in school is slowing down of perception, or the ability to take one's time, like the ability to take time to smell a flower, not literally to smell a flower, but to give yourself enough time to dive in to that particular thing that you need to understand. Just like if you didn't understand one word in that particular text or in a paragraph, you should give yourself enough time to understand it and look for the easiest way for you to understand it. Because if there is a story, or let's just say a poem, if that poem has such word that is hard to understand, you should not just focus on its definition that you have searched. You must look for its synonym. You should look for its synonym, or the words that is really related from what you are reading. Or let's just say, when it talks about romance in that poem, you should, and then there is a word in there that you cannot able to understand. The first definition that you have searched is not related, or it talks about different content. You should not follow that one. You should look for other definition, for other words that that is really appropriate to use, that is really appropriate for you to understand the whole poem. The next one is, the limits of language are not limits of cognition. Again, the limits of language are not the limits of cognition. It means that we know more than we can. This only shows that to create meaning and communicate it to others does not limit within the use of language in its conventional form. For literacy is associated to a high-level form of cognition. Most people usually think that in order to know, a person has to be able to say. However, we know more than we can tell. You don't need to speak lengthily, but rather make it short, because we have range of thought. We can, in just a few words, we can already give what are the things that we want to let the readers understand. You don't need to make it lengthy. Ibig sabihin nito, hindi dahilan yung kakulangan natin sa kaalaman ng isang salita kung mailalahad naman natin ito sa pinakamaikling paraan at maipapaintindi natin ito sa mas madaling paraan. Let's now proceed to the second to the last valuable or benefits of creative literacy, which is the somatic experience is one of the most important indicators that someone has gotten it right. It says that this infers multiple ways we represent the world and associate this through multiple forms of literacy, like making use of our bodies, specifically our five senses. The last one would be open-ended task permit to exercise of imagination. The imagination is one of the most important of human aptitudes. Imagination is the mother of invention and new possibilities. In the arts, it is primary virtue. Albert Einstein stressed that imagination is more important than knowledge. What is the importance of knowledge if you cannot make your mind think hindi mas importante na meron kang kaalaman. Dapat mayroon kang just like what we are talking in this modern time, common sense. You should still use your imagination or your mind to solve such particular problem. That would be all from the valuable lessons or the benefits that education can learn in arts.
Thank you, Ms. Badal. Mr. Ortega, you may now proceed to your discussion.
Thank you again. I'm Denzel Ortega and I'm going to discuss the characteristics of artistically literate individuals. So now, literate in art education are the following as common traits of artistically literate individuals, Alata and Ignacio, 2019. First is to utilize artistic media, symbols, and metaphors in order to communicate their ideas and to respond to the artistic communication of others. Second is to develop creative personal realization even in one art forms like painting, writings, and etc. Third is to cultivate culture, history, and other communication through diverse forms and genres in art. Next is find joy, inspiration, peace, intellectual stimulation, and meaning when they participate in arts. Lastly is to seek artistic experiences and support the arts in their communities. And that's all for my discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. I am now the speaker and I am going to continue the discussion. My topic is about issue in teaching creativity. Within the educational system, there exist practices that significantly impede the nurturing of creative capacity among learners. One prominent issue is the prevalent of stigmatization of mistakes in many schools, particularly in certain countries. This societal attitude cultivates a fear of making errors among students, inhibiting their willingness to take risks and stifling the generation of original ideas. The paradox here is that mistakes are powerful learning tools, and aversion to them hampers the educational process. Moreover, the hierarchical prioritization of academic subjects like mathematics and English over artistic disciplines further exacerbates the problem. This prioritization establishes a societal norm associating intelligence solely with academic competence, creating a dichotomy where artistic ability is undervalued. This bias can have profound implications, influencing students' self-perception and potentially hindering the exploration and development of their creative potential. To overcome these challenges, there is a pressing need to reconsider and reform educational practices, embracing mistakes as integral to the learning process and promoting a more balanced recognition of diverse talents, including artistic ones, can contribute to a more holistic and conducive educational environment for fostering creativity among learners. Robinson suggested some ways on how to integrate arts in the educational system. First is educate the well-being of learners. This suggests incorporating aspects of well-being into education. It involves addressing not only academic progress, but also the holistic development of students, considering their emotional, social, and mental well-being. This holistic approach recognizes that the students' overall well-being significantly impacts their ability to learn and be creative. Second, give equal weight to the arts, humanities, and physical education. Advocating for a balanced curriculum, this recommendation emphasizes that subjects like arts, humanities, and physical education should be given equal importance alongside traditional academic subjects. It underscores the value of a well-rounded education that acknowledges and nurtures various forms of intelligence and skills beyond the conventional academic realm. Third, facilitate learning and stimulate curiosity among learners. This encourages educators to create an environment that fosters active learning and curiosity. It involves moving away from rote memorization toward interactive, engaging teaching methods. By stimulating curiosity, students are more likely to explore questions and develop a genuine interest in their studies, fostering creativity in the process. Fourth, awakened and develop students' powers of creativity. This recommendation underscores the need to explicitly recognize and cultivate creativity as an essential aspect of education. It involves designing learning experiences that encourage original thinking, problem solving, and innovation. By acknowledging and actively developing students' creative abilities, educators contribute to preparing learners for the challenges of a dynamic and rapidly evolving world. And the last one is view intelligence as diverse, dynamic, and distinct. Rejecting a narrow view of intelligence, this principle suggests recognizing intelligence in various forms. It encourages acknowledging and appreciating diverse talents and skills among students. By embracing the diversity of intelligence, educators can create an inclusive learning environment that values each student's unique strengths, whether they lie in academics, arts, or other domains.
And now, let me discuss to you the essential components to develop creative literacy. The first one is imagination. Encourage individuals to explore and expand their imagination through various activities like storytelling, creative writing, role-playing, or envisioning alternative scenarios. This helps develop the ability to think outside the box and generate new ideas. Investigation, where encourage a sense of curiosity and inquiry by promoting research, exploration, and analysis of diverse subjects. This involves investigating different perspectives, gathering information, and understanding various viewpoints, which enriches creativity by providing a wider pool of knowledge and inspiration. And the third one is construction, wherein engage in hands-on activities such as building, crafting, designing, or creating art. Construction involves taking imaginative ideas and bringing them into tangible forms, fostering practical application of creative thoughts. And the last one is reflection. Encourage individuals to reflect on their experience, creations, and thought process. Reflections allows for self-assessment, learning from mistakes, understanding what worked well, and owning creative skills by refining ideas and approaches. So, by integrating these components into educational curriculums, activities, and personal practices, individuals can develop a strong foundation in creative literacy. This combination supports the ability to generate original ideas, think critically, and express oneself effectively through various mediums. At its core, creative literacy encompasses the synergy between imagination, investigation, construction, and reflection. These fundamental components intertwine to form the fabric of creative thought and expressions. Imagination acts as the catalyst, igniting novel ideas and possibilities, while investigation fuels the process with knowledge and exploration, and the construction steps in as the bridge between conceptualization and realization, allowing ideas to take shape through various mediums. And lastly, reflection serves as the compass, guiding individuals to assess, refine, and learn from their creative endeavors. So, understanding and harnessing these components collectively not only enriches one's creative abilities but also foster a deeper appreciation for the art of imagination and expression. Now, let's delve deeper into each of these components and explore their pivotal roles in nurturing creative literacy.
In our fast-paced digital world, creativity and imagination remain vital aspects of self-development and growth. Through creative literacy, we can expand our horizons and uncover unseen possibilities, inspiring us to inform new avenues of expression and understanding. Let us continue to foster this creative energy and use it as a springboard for connection, insight, and positive change. Let us not limit ourselves to traditional academic forms of literacy, but instead embrace a more vibrant and varied views of literacy that encompasses multiple modalities and imaginaries. Thank you.